Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneur's Journey. I started these off so that we could share with people from some incredible entrepreneurs some insights, some tips, some golden nuggets, how they found growing their business and their strengths and gifts along their journey of that growth. And today I'm absolutely honored to have a friend of mine who I've known a long, long time. Hello, George.
Hello, Susie.
George Marriott, all the way up in Bonnie, Scotland. And George is going to share with us all his insights as well. But before we do, I obviously want to read you his small bio so you can hear how he's built his successful, hugely successful business. So after finishing a degree in electronic engineering at Strathclyde University, George worked in the oil industry, which took him all over the world with this, from Ecuador to Egypt and beyond. George has always dreamed of owning his own business, so he quit the oil industry and set up Access Plus after his dad jokingly said, "You can't do what I do." His dad was a key manager at the biggest competitor at the time. The next day, George bought some equipment, and today they have 650 plus items which they rent to the construction industry, which is absolutely incredible. In 2014, Access Plus achieved outstanding customer service at the IAPA Awards, which is their equivalent of the worldwide Oscars. Absolutely an amazing achievement, George, especially and for your team, as you say, in particular, and well deserved too, because I know how giving that you really are. George's dad clearly was a good role model, and he taught him in a gentle way to stick at it. And the oil industry taught him that your reputation is only as good as your last job. And I agree with those points. Very true. So using these two foundations together with his own top human need, which is growth, George has built Access Plus and trainingplus.com into the business it is today. Outside of work, George rides his bike, his road bike, with his wife Audrey, and works out in the gym to keep his mind and body strong. And George loves his garden and loves to welcome his kids and good friends around for a barbecue, or simply share a gin and some good stories. I like that last bit, George, as well.
Yes, it's all about the gins.
Oh, and there's so many different types now, aren't there?
Yeah, keep you busy.
Keep you busy. Probably you've got the whiskies and the gins in Scotland now, I would say. Yes.
Only on a winter's night though, Susie, for a whiskey now.
Don't believe that for 1 minute. But anyway, I'm absolutely honoured to have you on today. And literally, let's dive straight in. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, obviously, I truly believe that with entrepreneurs, there's an art of personal leadership. And that is your winning formula of success, if you like. So I'd love you to share with 3 insights of what you found have been 3 of your best ones along the journey.
Thank you, Susie. I want to tell you that I'm really honoured. I really am genuinely honoured with you. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So the first thing that I'd like to say is, for me, staying focused is really, really, really important. And, you know, it involves all sorts of stuff, from getting as much information as you can get your hands on to make good, clever, informed decisions. But I think it also has to feel right as well. So, and I can share an example of this. In 2017, we really struggled as a business because all our software, all of our software completely collapsed. We had an annulus horribilis. We had the biggest influx of competitors into the central belt of Scotland that we'd ever seen. So competition was immense. So we had immense competition. We had no dashboards of information to tell us what's going on in our business because it had all collapsed. My dad had passed away as well. And put together with 4 industrial tribunals and a bad accident in our business, it genuinely couldn't have gotten any worse. So I think because I lost focus then, it taught me an awful lot. You cannot ever give up on your focus. So if that's helpful, that's the first point. The next thing as well is, again, going back to my dad, I guess, be determined. But really never ever give up. And something that my dad used to always say to me was just keep sticking at it, get in line and stay in line. We've all heard these phrases before, but he really did, in a really subtle way, just drop those little seeds of, a foundation that was going to help me build a business.
Key, determination is key. Agree with you on that.
Yeah, you've got to stay hungry,
Indeed, determined, yeah.
And I guess the last one for me is, you've got to get the best people around about you. There's no point in trying to do this journey on your own, but there are some great people out there and you can get them to buy into what you're doing, but if you can get what I call the believe in, get them to actually believe in what you're doing, I find that the energy and the effort that, you know, that radiates into the business, into your customers, and sometimes your suppliers as well, fantastic. You can't buy it.
No, and I like that belief in, you know, because when I worked with you a long time ago, 10 years ago or something now, and when I walked into your offices, you could feel the energy, you could feel the buy-in, and you're absolutely right. That's got to be a key insight to help people build their brand. Very, very important. Thank you for those three. That's fantastic. The other thing I believe that successful people definitely do think differently and definitely do some things differently. I really, really do. So what would you believe of been 2 or 3 of your values that have helped you along the journey?
I think for me, learn your own lessons and be your own person at the same time. But I think it's also important who you listen to. And that goes both ways. We both know we can get sent off down a dark avenue, and it really is an awful lot of waste of time and energy. So, you know, it comes back to getting some good mentors around about you, I guess. But learn your own lessons, because it's your own journey that you're on. I think another thing as well for me, you know, being dirt honest with everybody around about you, and just, you know, that everybody deserves to know what the truth is. Then everybody knows where they stand, and, you know, you can all pull in the same direction at least. Because when someone else is hurting in the team and nobody knows about it, we do have issues. And for me, it's all about being dirt honest at all times. But something that I'm really passionate about for me, Susie, is I love to innovate. I mean, I really do love to innovate, but it can be a strength as well as a weakness for me, because you can end up doing too much innovation and not enough implementation. So as much as I love to innovate, I think it's all about the implementation and actually getting the massive actions that go along with it. I think it was a guy called Jay Abrahams. I think you probably know all about Jay Abrahams. He said to me once, innovation and marketing are the only 2 things that matter in business. Well, if you haven't innovated, you've got nothing to market.
Very true.
So if you can innovate something, but you really believe in it, and then you can go shout about it through the marketing, then that's the things that really, really matter, I think.
Yeah, and I think passionate, I think you hit the nail on the head for you. It is, you've got to be passionate about what you're doing and what you're building, because if you don't really truly buy into it, believe in it, love it, be passionate about it, that won't come through to your team or through your customers, you know, to grow a business. I think that's fantastic. The other thing that, you know, something I'm very passionate about, we spoke when we worked together, is I'm very passionate about what I call the circle of genius, the peer group, if you will. People that you could have around you, whether it's friends, family, loved ones, business colleagues, whoever, you know, who really help keep you accountable, help to support you, help to nudge us if we need it. And obviously we did work together. And what were 2 or 3 things that you got from me when we did work together that might be valuable today?
Well, Susie, before this, I did say to you I was maybe going to surprise you. So this is a bit of a surprise, hopefully for yourself, because I'm going to remind you, you came into our business and I felt like Mary Poppins had showed up. You showed up and you sprinkled some magic in some really, really key areas, but you planted seeds that I don't think you realised how much they were going to grow. So one thing at the time, just to refresh your memory, we had 2 businesses. One was a plant hire business. Yep. Another one was a training business. And at the time, that training business was only 3% of a fairly small turnover. Well, today it's 20% of a very large business. And it was actually accountable for 33% of our profits in the last 3 years.
Wow.
Now, I don't know whether you remember, but that's what you did for us. You got me to focus on an area that was profitable during the recession. You said to me, you know, you've got 4 or 5 lines of income here. What's this training thing in the bottom line here?
I do remember that, George. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, I totally dismissed it. And I said, look, Susie, that's, and you said, give me the numbers. And you went away that night to your hotel room. You came back and you said to me, George, that 3% is actually the most profitable of all your 5 income lines. And from there on, by God, I bloody well
put it into action.
I got determined because there was the money. I started digging. And so there you go. And I really didn't know that. The other thing as well is, you did bring something, Susie, that has been everlasting with me, and I'm so pleased, and I'm hoping that you're getting it over a telephone conversation just now with me. But you came in and you said to me, I'll kind of be like the CEO. And I thought, right, okay, yeah, great, fantastic. And you did a great job. You really did do a great job at the time. But there was two CEOs that showed up, Susie. And I don't know whether you know this, but CEO does stand for Chief Executive Officer, as most people know, but it didn't. You left a Chief Energy Officer with me.
Wow.
And I really cannot thank you enough, because that's what it's all about. It's all about you leading your own life, leading your team and getting on with it. And you really, really did show me what leadership was. So thank you. And I genuinely mean thank you.
Oh God, I'm getting emotional. Like I said, I mean, because we all have to live our walk our own journey, but people do inspire us along the way, you know, and I'm just grateful that we spent that time together. We're spending this time together now, and we're going to sprinkle your magic dust and a little bit of mine on all the people that are going to watch this, you know, back over the next weeks, months, years, and hopefully it'll give them some inspiration. Energy is everything. It's about being kind, being authentic, being real with people, and elegantly nudging their booty if they need it from time to time. Yeah.
You did that.
Elegantly, I hope. Yeah.
Yes, very elegantly, just like Mary Poppins.
That analogy, I've never been called Mary Poppins before, but I'll take it, George. I'll take it. Thank you so much for that accolade. You know, that leads me to the next question. I believe everyone has the potential to reach their level of greatness. You know, we've talked about it many times. We've worked, you know, we met at the Tony Robbins Arena many moons ago, and he's somebody that helps to strive people to reach their greatness. You and I read books and podcasts and all the rest of it, but I really do believe people can live their best life if they raise their standards, raise their energy on whatever. So what would you say were two distinctions that you feel people could master even better to get more successful?
I've got two really simple answers here for you, Susie. The first thing is give yourself the number one slot.
Wow.
I think it's easy to keep on pleasing everybody else around about you. It's important that you believe in you, but I think it's even more important that you find out what you want and then go and get it. Because we're busy doing that for our customers all the time. We're finding out what they want, and then we're going to go and get that service or whatever it is that they need. I think it's really important that you do that for yourself. So I like the idea of keeping the vision board. I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I like the idea of keeping a vision board. So the other thing that I'd like to add to the vision board is dream, but believe in the dream. Don't just put a picture on a wall and put some comments around about it. I think it's really important that you feel it. We talked just before you probably recorded this about how emotional you are, and I said, yeah, well, fun enough, you know, we're two peas in the pod for that. I think you've got to really feel it to go out there and get that emotion to go and do it. So massive action only comes, I think, when you really feel it. So I think go ahead, go and put a great vision board that inspires you. Watch the magic happen and get emotional about it.
I love that. And I like what you said, grab the number one slot. I love that. I absolutely, yeah. And I think you need to start writing a book. Get that book going, because you've got great tips and insights, you know, to share with people. So I'm going to hold you accountable, even though we're not working together at the moment. I'm going to say, how about penning it?
Susie, I'm still trying to get over the last one from 10 years ago here.
No, you're not. No, you're not. I think you should start writing a book. I really do, because there'll be people out there from a business perspective that really could. I love some of the things you said, and I haven't said that to anybody on any of these that I've done thus far. You need to do it. So there's our accountability buddies, if you like. We're coming to the end of the call. I mean, I could talk to you for hours, but there's one thing I always ask people at the end of the chat is, you know, we've all read many books, we've listened to podcasts, we've seen, you know, YouTube things, those kind of things do influence us on our journeys. You know, I've studied many people, from Robin Sharma to, you know, Brené Brown to loads of others. But if there's one book that you could recommend to somebody that they influenced you recently or before, what would that be, that book or podcast?
This was the easiest question you gave me by a long shot, right? And I'm going to give you some value here, okay? But one of them is a bit of a cop-out, but I'm going to give you two answers to this. But the first one, by a screaming mile, is a book by a guy called Chet Holmes, and it's called The Ultimate Sales
Sales
Machine.
Machine. Yep.
Fabulous, fabulous book. It's written in a language that anybody can understand. It's just a great book. It's so well written with, it's not ideas. This is a guy who's got it all mapped out. This is a map that you can follow.
Blueprint,
and
absolutely.
as you're walking along the journey with him, he's giving you example after example, and they're all, you can completely translate and transform them into your own business. He really hammers home the importance of repetition, being pig-headed with your discipline,
That's right.
marketing to demonstrate, you know, why people should be making the purchase decision. And he talks about educate your clients, just educate them, don't sell to them, educate them to the point where, you know, they've kind of got to give in and cave into the fact that you are the only game in town. Nice. When it comes to whatever business you're in. So I cannot, everybody that ever asks me, you know, you go along to some of the local kind of events for businesses, and people say, oh, I see your business here, I see it there, oh, you must be really successful. And I'm not really successful. I'm not a Richard Branson in this world, but some people do say to me, you know, if you get any tips from me, I tell them, buy this book. Just buy this book. Brilliant. So that's the first one, and it is by a screaming mile the best for any business that I can tell anybody. The other one that I really like, and it is a cop out, and I do apologise, Susie, I'm apologising well in advance, it's the Tony Robbins Unshakable.
No, it's a brilliant book. Brilliant.
I think it's absolutely fantastic for anybody who's interested in financial freedom. It's a playbook. It's so simple. It's one of those books that takes you on a journey, because if you're looking for financial freedom, it's very difficult to find the correct avenue to follow.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas this, again, very similar to what I just said about the Chet Holmes book. This is for people that have maybe got some savings that want to do something a little bit better. So I've got an example for you. My son, and I'm a bit like you mentioned your son when we're talking about the families. So I've got a son, Mitchell, he's 18 years old, and he really does knock me out because he's cleverer than me, he's more determined than me. I just love his whole nature. And Aaron's the same, and so with my daughter Tia. Mitchell's just at that stage where, you know, Dad, you know, what should I do next? So on his 18th birthday back in August, I opened him up a stockbroker's account.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Suze, I can't believe this. He really only started investing probably in 2020, maybe around about February, March. He's got a job, but since the COVID crisis, and he's in the COVID crisis, investing right now, he's 38% up, and I know he's been higher than that, but he's 38% up right now. So, you know, for people that want to, you know, do some sort of kind of investing as a sideline, you know, making money while you're sleeping, this is definitely a cracking read for anybody, and it's so simple. It really is a lot simpler than people think it is.
But also the message that, you know, we need to read that book, and I've read it. It's a great book, by the way, but the fact you gave it to your son and he's implementing, so many of us can read something in a book and never take that action, as you said earlier, took that action to play with it to start with, and look at his results. I mean, that is just, you must be so proud because he's listened, he's respected you, and then he's gone and done the do.
Well, I'm hoping, Susie, that if I ever sell my business, he'll look after the money.
Book him now. I absolutely. Definitely agree with that. Absolutely. Oh, George, I mean, where can people get hold of you from? That was always something that I like to let people know.
Well, if you just go onto our website, accessplus.com, accessplus.com, and just call the main reception if you really want to speak to me. I love helping people with businesses. I love helping people if I possibly can in any way, shape or form. And, you know, I love connecting with great quality people. So, you know, I'm here and I'd love to hear from anybody. Yes,
you do. You tick all those boxes. And I just want to say from my heart to yours, it's been an absolute honor to hear just a few little snippets of your insights. I wish we had more time. We never do, because I wanted to make these chats just 15-20 minutes long, just so that it's not a long call that people haven't got time to listen to, but that, you know, so inspirational. You're from the heart, you're real, you know, you've got your humor, you've got your energy. And as I say, I'm really honored, and we will stay connected. Yes.
Fantastic. We really miss you at this end, Susie, and you know it.
Well, and I miss you too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.